celebrities, presidents, and worthship. For some decades now, your news media have given you idols, stars, famous persons to watch and worship as if they would be above you somehow. There is a fascination to know what they are doing, where they have been seen, who they are mating with, etc. There has been a tendency in human thought to hold above you the presidents and leaders, kings and queens of the time, priests and rabbis, and to think that they hold power over you. You have worshipped them sometimes as being all-knowing, even presuming them to be divine. You have recreated that scenario many times in your human history. I would speak with you now about the true meaning of worship, and why there has been, down through the ages, a calling within you to worship. For truly, there is a calling deep within you to which you are responding, a calling deep within you which recognizes there is something more than what you see yourself to be as the individual, something more than what you see as the world around you and all of its activities. In what you would call ancient times, there was a calling to worship the god, goddess, the force of nature, anything which was not understood or anything which perceived to be greater than you. And down through the ages you have kept certain objects of worship, and certain concepts are still held even today. You have imbued your leaders and your famous ones with qualities which you think they might have, or ones which you hope they might have, and when it is found that they have feet of clay, that they have faults, you judge them harshly. True worship means to recognize worth, for indeed your word worship is a shortened form of worthship. Look it up in your book of words of meanings. It comes from the root meaning the same as worth or value. Now for a long time you would worship that which you saw worth beyond yourself, not recognizing it within yourself, and perhaps not seeing too much of worth in the brothers and sisters, except the ones who would claim themselves to be next to God or next to me, in a hierarchy that placed them a bit higher than you and in connection with God. For the last 2,000 years in your timing, I have been placed upon a pedestal by many of you. Now, not all who are activating the bodies and walking the face of the earth hold to this lineage, but many have placed me far above themselves, seen me as the very Son of God, which I am, and putting themselves down, not understanding that we are truly brothers. Have I wanted to be worshipped? Yes, but not in the way of duality, which would say that I am above you and separate and far off from you. I want to be worshipped as you now are coming into the understanding of worshiping yourself, of knowing equality, and not an equality that would take me down from the right hand of God the Father, but rather would raise you up. Now it is time to worship with true understanding, to worship yourself as well as me. Yes, I do want to be worshipped, in that I want you to understand and recognize and realize my true worth as the holy child of the Father. But I want you also to recognize your true worth, and to raise yourself up in that understanding and realization, and by raising yourself up to that realization, then to extend to all other brothers and sisters, those activating the human form, those activating the animal form, the plants, the trees, everything that is of life. There is a recording within your scriptures where I spoke to a woman at a well, and we spoke about worship, John 4:19-24. When she remarked that her forefathers had worshipped in a mountain rather than in Jerusalem, I said to her, "Woman, believe me, and I say this to you now, for you are awakening. The hour cometh, when you shall neither in this mountain, nor yet in Jerusalem worship the Father. For at that time it is believed that it was necessary to go to a sacred place, such as a mountain, or such as Jerusalem, in order to worship. It is the same in this day and time when many will believe that they must go to a church, a synagogue, a religious place in order to worship. But I say unto you that you can worship the Father out of the water, out on the golf course, out in nature, even in your workplace. Think about that for a moment. God the Father, when I use the word Father, I used a word which is not in your language today. I used the word Abba, which strictly translated meant Father. But as you know, words have many nuances of meaning, and the word Abba, a most wonderful word that carries with it much love, meant the source of all, the loving point of creation, of beginning, the parent, yes, the Father, yes, but more than what you would see just as a father. Abba carries with it the meaning of allness, the source from which you have sprung as an extension even unto this day and time. When you read the word God in your scriptures, substitute the word Abba. When you read the word Father in your scriptures, substitute in your mind the word Abba, and know that it means much more. It is not a strict translation. To continue, I said unto her, Believe me, the hour cometh when you shall neither in this mountain, nor yet in Jerusalem worship the Father. You worship you know not what. This has been true for a very long time. There is a deep feeling within one to worship. It is indeed the feeling of wanting to come home. It is the feeling of wanting to awaken. It is the feeling of wanting to realize truly who you are. That feeling has led to a perceived need to worship that which you would see to be beyond yourself, better than yourself, more than yourself. And down through the ages, worship then has taken many forms, many ceremonies, many rituals, much of it coming from a sense of separation. But the motivation for worship has come from the deep inner desire to know your allness, to know your source, to know and realize your true being. For so long you have worshipped that which you know not. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipper shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for the Father seeketh such to worship him. Now, the Father does not go out as a parent trying to find the child so that the child may worship him. Abba does not go out seeking you to remember him and to worship him as something beyond and above and greater than you. But Abba does go out as an energy field, as a magnet. That is a good analogy. Seeking you in your heart of hearts to respond to that magnetic energy, to awaken, and to worship truly. In other words, to come to the true understanding of your worth. To worship him, yes, to recognize and know the worth of Abba, but also to know your worth as an extension of that dynamic, expanding energy. The isness characterized, as we have spoken many times, by the concept of love. God is spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Now when it is spoken that God, Abba, is spirit, it means that it is energy beyond what is known in this plane. That is why the word spirit was used. It meant that which is beyond what is known here in this reality. For you speak of the spirits of the loved ones who have gone on. You speak of the spirits of the guardian angels. You speak of the spirits of the ancestors. You speak of spirits as being beyond this plane of reality. Abba, God, the Father, is spirit and must be worshipped in spirit. In other words, you must recognize the true meaning in order to worship Abba. You must recognize that which is beyond this reality. You must catch a glimpse of how extended, how unlimited it is, and recognize the worth of that unlimited extension to the place where there is great, great awe and celebration. That is true worship. All other worship is a vain ritual. All other worship is empty words based on false, limited belief. You have come through lifetimes, even in this lifetime, of knowing ceremonies and rituals where you would say over and over the correct words, and yet you did not feel your heart was touched or open. When you come to a place of true realization of your worth, when you come to a place of the true realization of what it means to be an extension of Abba, then you live in worship. Your life becomes a daily activity of worship, not having to go down on the knees and to worship in that way, but beholding the Christ in everyone. True worship, then, becomes a way of life, an ongoing understanding of true worth. It is not just something that you do on one day of the week, one day of the month, one day or two out of the year, which are set aside as a sacred holiday. It is what you do in every day as you begin to realize who and what you are, beloved and wonderful child of the Father. When next you behold or think about your celebrities, your presidents, and your leaders, behold the Christ of them. You may or may not agree with their choice or behaviors, but you can and must agree with knowing the Christ at work. Everything serves the atonement, patience and love especially. Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, then go beyond that to see the expanded wholeness of divinity. Applaud the drama, award your commendation of the worth of each individual, and then walk on in love. So be it.